My intent with this video is to go into the 9/11 theory, not disproving anything and not proving anything other than a legitimate new theory. And part of the theory in it is that there's an energy weapon involved in 9/11, and I definitely believe that there's definitely the chance for one to happen. At the same time, there is also a device known as the barometric bomb, which is creates basically a cloud of explosives, which is extremely devastating. And the thing is, I believe that it could be used to create pyroclastic clouds. And instead of the energy weapon being used, there's a pyroclastic cloud. And it's like, what caused that? Well, hopefully I get to the bottom of that. And being that Oklahoma City wasn't, there wasn't so much filming and stuff like that, doing the research into that one is kind of difficult, but I'm working on it. So this is just let me see what I can do real quick. So this is a great short video. And real quick, just kind of pay attention to things. Seriously, zoom in like this reporter did, and zoom in onto the details. Let's figure this out.
Go low to the corner.
This is why there's belief of an energy weapon used. My belief is that it's a barometric bomb, and this was a pyroclastic cloud that was a result of some of the explosions.
Go. 3, 2. Oh man. More debris falling from a nearby building, the World Trade Center. We're at West Broadway and Barclay. Very difficult to breathe here, but look around. This must have been ground zero where this thing blew up. Car after car after car, buses, completely obliterated and burned straight down to the steel. Behind me.
So
creates hot, explosive energy creates hot dust clouds rising like a volcanic eruption.
By the other two, it was kind of a reddish brown, and it more or less ran east and west. It was a long, thin building, but it had been damaged and it had been on fire for hours, and the smoke just seemed to intensify. But we really couldn't see a lot of damage from this angle, from the north side of the structures. That's why everybody was so surprised when all of a sudden it just fell.
Now, the other thing, too, we presume it has been burning for some time. As you indicated, there was nobody inside, and we hope no danger to anybody when it went down.
Well, that's the thing, is that when number 2 went down, I don't think, and I know...
The U.S. Geological Survey website provides us with a definition of a pyroclastic flow as a ground-hugging avalanche of hot gas and debris.
Huge buildings that have been here so long would actually just fall. And that's what happened. They just crumbled.
The rising gas chimney is clearly visible in this photo of the North Tower.
If things fell due to their own means, then nothing should really rise too much further above the building. Yeah, there might be some dust that gets caught up in a draft or something, but nothing should bellow, kind of chimney like this does. And notice the difference in color. Oh, it's just the angle of the layer.
Implosion with pyroclastic flows between buildings. The cauliflower shape of the debris clouds is a telltale sign of pyroclastic flows generated by massive explosions typical of volcanic eruptions and controlled demolitions.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Ben. That is the second building that has gone down. It came out like a blue.
Is that a cloud of aluminum, silicate, lead azide, and a few other ingredients is set up so that a specific chain molecule exists, that permeates the air all the way around the pillars and so on and so forth. And this cloud is energized with a high voltage pattern, a specific high voltage pattern, which produces a sort of a stairway pattern in the molecular structure of the cloud. Part of that pattern is a hydrodynamic generator, a hydrodynamic power generator, an energy source, shall we say, permeating the cloud, which is then energized with another energy source and then detonated. And this causes the cloud itself to explode in such a fashion so that if the cloud is circulating around the pillar, then it crushes the pillar from all sides and turns that pillar literally to dust and leaves only the rebar behind. So if you've got this cloud permeating all the way around the first floor, wherever it is, anything in its path gets crushed, imploded to dust instantaneously. And when that happens, of course, there's nothing left to hold up the floor as above, so bang, they come down like a pancake.
How does this coincide with the 5 or 6 second differential seen on the seismograms from Oklahoma Geological Center?
Well, the delay in the two detonations is very critical. In fact, it's one of the most critical aspects of the bomb that gives it away.
That's because it's a fuel-air mixture, almost like the Moab or Boab, father of all bombs, mother of all bombs. It's a fuel-air bomb. This is the effect I was looking for.
High-speed bomber ready for takeoff.
The delay in the two detonations is very critical. In fact, it's one of the most critical aspects of the bomb that gives it away. And so I'm not going to comment how accurate the seismographic delay is. I'm going to say that it's within the accuracy range that it should be to fit our bomb signature.
Could your bomb have been numbers 2 and 3 that people heard? Conasudo is one of the... He and Ted Gunderson, which the government denies exist.
Looking at General Parton's photographs, they very dramatically show the elements of the structural steel rebar protruding in the bomb debris. And this is a type of damage that is not possible with an ammonium nitrate fuel oil or ANFO type bomb. An ANFO bomb has a lot of gas pressure and very little brisance or shattering power. And at the range that that bomb was detonated to do that type of structural damage this far into the structure. Here you can see on the columns here the pieces of rebar completely exposed. Ordinarily, it would take a contact type explosive to do that kind of damage.
Well, that's demonstrated right there is a shear effect, meaning that the reason why the building came down, oops, I don't get out of that, the things took place is because there were shape charges all along, key points. And load bearing, pretty much every 16 feet, unless there's a, steel beam or something, but you can see that there's something there. But there's got to be a support and such. So what essentially has happened is instead of the damage going in, the damage was going down, and that's why things sheared. There was a shearing force.
We ask about telltale signs.
The signature is one of blast damage or shattering power, which is characteristic of a very high order explosive. The detonation velocity of our bomb is in excess of 20,000 meters per second. There's no known chemical explosive that has that much brisance.
Besides, dun dun dun, aluminum nanoparticles.
It is a type of explosive detonation device which is developed out of the nuclear weapons program. And this is not your garden variety detonator circuit that you would find in, say, the DuPont.
Oops, hold on a second. With that being said,
destroy the nod base quickly before it can cause more trouble. Objective complete. Establishing video uplink.
Chemical explosive that has that much brisance. It is a type of explosive detonation device which is developed out of the nuclear weapons program. And this is not your garden variety detonator circuit that you would find in, say, the DuPont Blaster's Handbook, which is the Bible of the commercial explosives industry. Even in ordinary conventional military explosives, you would not find a detonator of this sophistication. The only place you find this sophistication is in nuclear weapons triggers.
Are you then saying this was a nuclear weapon?
No, this is detonated by the type of device which is used to initiate a nuclear weapon, which is non-nuclear in and of itself.
Reconnaisudo believes that there are no conventional explosives in existence capable of doing the kind of damage evident at the scene.
Ted, this building was rated better than seismic zone 1. And any engineer familiar with the basic Roerich equations on structural stress would be able to tell you that this damage pattern is very unusual. And for a conventional explosive to do this kind of damage, where there's a marked demarcation from Class A to Class C damage, in other words, total destruction to moderate damage, it's just a technical impossibility. It would take a blast wave of extreme brisance or shattering power to do that kind of damage. It's obvious from the public reports that there were two separate blasts. And it's also obvious publicly that enhanced explosives are of a two-stage or long induction type explosion. There are, however, certain details which are classified, and this type of knowledge is highly specialized. and your average person on the street, or even your average explosives engineer, would not be aware of this type of technology.
When was this bomb developed?
This bomb was developed in the late 70s through our company, Pyrotronics Corporation, which was a parent company of Hercules Research. And then we went into a joint venture with the Wackenhut Corporation. In order to demolish a building like that, a building that is designed for better than seismic zone 1 stresses, would take an immense amount of rigging, and you would have to actually drill the structural members to plant the charges.
Is this bomb, the barometric bomb, a directional bomb?
Yes, the blast dispersion can be precisely controlled. It can be omnidirectional, or it can be very directional in a less than 15-degree fan if it's detonated that way.
Michael, assuming that the building...
Basically what he's saying is, you know, so you have a can of hairspray, right? It does a fan pattern because it's directed, it's got back pressure. Whereas omnidirectional is, well, you saw that fuel air bomb, it was just, and then boom, you know, just blows up. And what's similar with this is it actually goes into the what a vacuum bomb is, because when all the thing is that a lot of oxygen is consumed in the process of these explosions, and you know, and so they actually and it gets blown out, and then things get sucked back in because of the differential pressure, the heat, and everything. So it creates almost like a little mini vacuum. And so, you know, because there's shock wave, essentially.
Was drilled and wired. Could it have been done from closing time on Tuesday night before 9 o'clock in the morning Wednesday?
Absolutely not. It would have taken days to prep a building like that.
Does this bombing fit the signature of any other bomb other than the barometric bomb?
None that I know of.
Do you have any knowledge of the barometric bomb ever having been used before other than during experimentation?
Yes, it was used to take down a high-rise apartment building in downtown Beirut in retaliation for Mr. Buckley's torture and death.
What year?
That would have been in 1984.
And who was responsible for that? Who had control of the bomb at that time that did this?
Our friend. I don't want to. I don't turn the camera off.
So from there, I was trying to find something else, but I came across this first. New York City Department of Buildings, no records for pre-9/11 World Trade Center elevator rebuild, one of the largest, most sophisticated ever. And so that allowed people to the inner structure of the building. So, you know, you want to talk about renovation projects like that and access to the inner workings. I mean, I was trying to find the sprinkler system, because the aluminum nanoparticles are, well, they work hydrodynamically apparently too. I mean, I'm still, trying to figure that one out, so bear with me. This is just part one. So let's now to bring it to, so we have Oklahoma City and such. Let's just see some of the suspicious things. Alright, so real quick, just kind of go over this to show, because I'm kind of on the fence about the energy weapon being used as a detonator, because it almost seems right. So the thing is that alright, let's look at the damage here. It's like, a bite's taken out there, then another one's not there, and then it's just loose in its face here. and we see like the supports are about every 16 feet or so. And so what could have caused this damage? Well, you have basically plumes of gas in here. Some of it seeps here, and then smaller ones half the size of this one, because obviously things are pretty precise. And then because this is something we need to look at, is where was the wind blowing, or because this, but it's basically we have an energy weapon that just ignites it. Ignites it. And this goes into my theory with the Tunguska event, that it was gas that leaked into the air because it created a butterfly effect, and chain lightning caused the explosion to occur. So a very similar damage, very precise and whatnot. And that's the thing is, why is stuff not blown inside more? So yeah, that's just kind of the tip of the bird right now. Take care, be safe, be kind, stay strong, love you all.